Have you ever walked away from a conversation and thought to yourself, why did I agree to that? Or maybe you found yourself doing a favor for someone and you're not even sure how you got talked into it. It happens to all of us. And sometimes it's not just a coincidence. It's because the other person used a little bit of psychology to guide you in the direction they wanted. It sounds a bit sneaky, and sometimes it is. But most of the time, people aren't even doing it on purpose. They've just learned that certain ways of talking to people get them what they want. It's a kind of social skill. But when it's used to control you or make you do things you don't really want to do, that's when it becomes a problem. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on these subtle mind games. We're going to talk about 10 psychological tricks that people use to control you, often without you even realizing it. This isn't about making you paranoid or distrustful of everyone. It's about giving you the knowledge to see what's happening. It's about helping you keep control of your own decisions. Because the best way to not be controlled is to understand how control works. So, let's get into the first one. Number 1 is a classic, and it's called the foot in the door technique. Imagine this. A coworker you don't know very well comes up to your desk. She asks, "Hey, could you just quickly show me how to format this one cell in my spreadsheet? It'll only take a second." You're a nice person, so you say, "Sure, no problem." You show her, and it does only take a minute. She thanks you and goes back to her desk. An hour later, she comes back. "You were so helpful earlier," she says with a big smile. "I was wondering, could you maybe take a look at the whole report for me? I'm really struggling, and you just get this stuff." Now you feel a little trapped. You already helped her once. You've already shown that you're a helpful person. Saying no now feels kind of rude, doesn't it? So, you end up spending your entire lunch break helping her with her report. That is the foot in the door technique. It starts with a very small, easy -to-say yes to request. A tiny favor. Once you've said yes to that small thing, you are much more likely to say yes to a bigger request later on. The psychology behind this is all about consistency. We humans have a deep need to be consistent with our past actions and decisions. When you agreed to the small request, you established yourself in your own mind as a helpful person. When the bigger request comes along, saying no would create a conflict in your brain. It would be inconsistent with the person you just were a moment ago. So, to avoid that uncomfortable feeling, you're more likely to say yes again, even if the second request is much bigger than what you would have originally agreed to. It's a slow and steady way to get you to do something big by starting small. Next up, at number 2, we have the complete opposite of the foot in the door. This one is called the door in the face technique. Let's say your teenager comes to you and says, "Mom, Dad, all my friends are going on a week-long trip to the beach for spring break. It costs $1,000. I want to go." You immediately think, $1,000? Absolutely not. That's way too much money, and you're not going away for a whole week without any supervision. You slam the door in the face of that request. Your teenager looks disappointed, but then says, "Okay, I understand. Well, what about this then? A bunch of us are going to the local theme park on Saturday. The ticket is only $50. Can I at least do that?" Now, compared to $1,000. Week-long trip, $50 for a day at the theme park sounds incredibly reasonable. In fact, you might even feel a little bit guilty for shutting down their first request so harshly. You think, well, I said no to the big thing. I should probably say yes to the small thing. And you hand over the $50. What you might not realize is that the theme park was what your teenager wanted all along. The $1,000 trip was just a setup. This is the Dorianthais technique. Someone makes a huge, often ridiculous request that they know you will refuse. Then, right after you say no, they make a much smaller, more reasonable request. This second request is what they actually wanted from the beginning. This works because of two main psychological principles. First, guilt. You might feel a little bad for refusing them, so you're more willing to agree to the second, smaller thing to make up for it. Second, it works because of contrast. The first big request makes the second one seem tiny and insignificant in comparison. It's all about perspective. They change your perspective on what is reasonable by showing you something completely unreasonable first. It's a very clever way of making you feel like you're getting a good deal, when in reality, you're just giving them what they wanted, all right? The third trick on our list is a really serious one. It's called gaslighting. This term has become more common lately, and for good reason. Gaslighting is a powerful and dangerous form of manipulation. It's when someone tries to make you doubt your own perceptions, your own memory, and even your own sanity. Let's take a simple, everyday example. You remember very clearly telling your partner that you have a dentist appointment on Wednesday afternoon. You mentioned it at breakfast. On Wednesday morning, you remind them, "Hey, don't forget, I have that dentist appointment today, so I'll be home a little late." And they look at you, completely confused, and say, "What are you talking about? You never told me that." "I would have remembered." You insist, "Yes, I did. I told you on Monday." They shake their head and say, "No, you didn't. You've been really forgetful lately. Are you sure you're feeling okay?" You start to second guess yourself. Did I really tell them? Maybe I just thought about telling them. Maybe I am more forgetful than I thought. Over time, if this happens again and again, the effects can be devastating. A person who is being gaslit starts to lose trust in their own mind. They start to believe that they are the problem, that they are crazy or stupid or have a terrible memory. This makes them much more dependent on the person who is gaslighting them. They start relying on the manipulator for their version of reality because they no longer trust their own. Gaslighting isn't always about big, dramatic lies. It's often done in small, subtle ways. It's the constant questioning of your memory. It's them denying that they said or did something that you know they did. It's them telling you that you're being too sensitive or overreacting when you have a valid emotional response to their behavior. The goal is always the same: to erode your confidence in yourself, making you easier to control. Moving on to number 4, we have something most of us have experienced: guilt tripping. A guilt trip is when someone tries to make you feel guilty for not doing what they want you to do. They put their happiness or well-being in your hands, making you feel responsible for their emotions. Imagine your friend calls you on a Friday night. "Hey, I'm feeling really down tonight. I was hoping you'd come over and we could watch a movie." You've had a really long, exhausting week at work, and you were looking forward to a quiet night in by yourself. You tell your friend, "Oh, I'm sorry you're feeling down, but I'm really tired tonight. I think I just need to rest." Instead of understanding, your friend replies with a heavy sigh. "Oh, okay. I guess I'll just be here by myself then. I just thought you were my friend and you'd be there for me when I was feeling sad. But I guess it's fine. Don't worry about me." Wow, how do you feel now? You probably feel like a terrible friend. The exhaustion you felt a minute ago is now mixed with a heavy dose of guilt. You start thinking, maybe I should just go. It's not right to leave my friend alone when they're sad. I'd be a bad person if I didn't go. And so, you drag yourself off the couch and go to your friend's house, not because you want to, but because you feel too guilty not to. That's a classic guilt trip. It works by playing on our natural desire to be good people and to not cause others pain. Manipulators know this. They know that if they can make you feel responsible for their sadness, their disappointment, or their problems, you are much more likely to give in and do what they want. It's a way of controlling your actions by controlling your emotions. They make their problem your fault. Now, for number 5. This one can feel really good at first, but it often has a hidden dark side. It's called love bombing. Love bombing is when someone showers you with intense affection, attention, and admiration right at the beginning of a relationship. This could be a romantic partner, but it could also be a new friend or even a leader of a group. In the beginning, it feels amazing. They tell you you're the most incredible person they've ever met. They send you good morning texts and good night texts. They want to see you all the time. They buy you gifts. They compliment you constantly. You feel like you've finally found someone who truly sees you and appreciates you. You feel like you're on top of the world. But then, slowly, things start to change. Once they feel like they have you hooked, they start to use that initial bombing of affection as a tool for control. If you do something they don't like, maybe you want to spend a night out with your old friends, they suddenly withdraw all that affection. They might become cold and distant. They might say things like, "I thought what we had was special. I guess I was wrong." This makes you panic. You want to get back to that amazing feeling from the beginning. So, you cancel your plans with your friends to make your new partner happy. You learn very quickly that to keep the love and affection coming, you have to do what they want. Love bombing is dangerous because it creates a powerful emotional bond very quickly. It makes you feel dependent on the person for your self-worth. They build you up so high, and then they show you that they can tear it all down in an instant. The underlying message is, behave the way I want you to, and I will love you. Step out of line, and I will take that love away. It's a very effective way to isolate someone and gain complete control over their life. Let's move on to number 6. A trick often used in sales and advertising. It's called the scarcity principle. Have you ever been shopping online and seen a message that says, "Hurry, only 2 left in stock"? Or maybe you've seen an offer that says, 50% off for today only. What does that do to you? It creates a sense of urgency. You feel like if you don't act now, you're going to miss out. You might end up buying something you weren't even sure you wanted just because you were afraid of losing the opportunity. That is the scarcity principle in action. It's the idea that we place a higher value on things that are rare or limited. When something is scarce, we automatically assume it must be more valuable or of better quality. This isn't just about shopping. People use this in relationships. 2. Someone might tell you that they have many other people interested in them, making you feel like you're in a competition. They make their time and attention seem like a scarce resource. This can make you more eager to please them, more willing to do what they want, just to win their affection over the supposed competition. The psychology here is simple. It's about fear of missing out, or FOMO. We hate the idea of losing opportunities. When a person or a product is presented as scarce, it triggers that fear. It rushes our decision-making process. We stop thinking logically about whether we actually want or need the thing, and we start thinking emotionally about the pain of losing it. It's a powerful motivator that makes us act quickly, often without thinking things through. Number 7 is a trick that plays on our need to belong. It's called social proof. or the bandwagon effect. Humans are social creatures. We look to others to figure out what we should do, especially when we're in a new or uncertain situation. We assume that if a lot of other people are doing something, it must be the right thing to do. Let's say you're looking for a place to eat in a new city. You walk down a street and see two restaurants side by side. One is completely empty. The other one is bustling with people, with a small line waiting outside. Which one are you more likely to choose? Almost everyone would choose the busy one. We think, if all these people are eating here, it must be good. We trust the proof of the crowd. Manipulative people use this all the time. They might say things like, everyone is investing in this new opportunity, or everybody agrees that this is the right way to do it. They create the impression that there is a huge consensus, and that you're the odd one out if you don't agree. This puts a lot of pressure on you to conform. Nobody wants to be the only one left behind. Nobody wants to feel like they are making the wrong choice when everyone else seems so certain. So, you might go along with the group, even if you have doubts. This trick works by bypassing your own critical thinking. Instead of evaluating the situation for yourself, based on your own values and your own judgment, you outsource your decision-making to the anonymous crowd. It's a shortcut our brains take. But when someone is intentionally creating a false sense of a crowd, they are using that shortcut to control your choices. Coming in at number 8 is a trick that feels like simple kindness, but can have strings attached. It's the principle of reciprocity. Reciprocity is the idea that when someone does something nice for you, you feel like you owe them something in return. It's a very strong social norm. If someone gives you a gift for your birthday, you feel obligated to give them a gift for theirs. Here's how it can be used as a manipulation tool. Imagine you're at a home improvement store, just browse. An employee comes up and spends 50 minutes with you, giving you all sorts of free advice and tips for your garden. He's friendly, he's helpful, and he asks for nothing in return. At the end of the conversation, he says, "Well, if you do decide to get some fertilizer today, this is the brand I would recommend." Now, you might not have even planned on buying fertilizer, but after he spent so much time helping you, you feel a strong sense of obligation. You feel like you should buy something from him to repay his kindness. So, you put the fertilizer in your cart. The manipulator gives you something. First, a small gift, a favor, a compliment, their time. It's usually something you didn't even ask for, but once you accept it, you feel indebted. This feeling of debt can make you agree to a much larger request later on. It's a very subtle trick, because it's disguised as generosity. It's hard to say no to someone who has just done something nice for you. But it's important to remember that true gifts come with no strings attached. If a favor comes with an unspoken expectation, it's not a gift, it's a down payment. It's the first move in a transaction designed to make you feel like you owe them. Number 9 is a technique that builds a false sense of connection. It's called mirroring. Have you ever been talking to someone and you just felt like you clicked? The conversation flowed easily, and you felt like they really understood you. Sometimes that's a genuine connection, but other times it might be because they are intentionally mirroring you. Mirroring is when a person subtly copies your body language, your gestures, your tone of voice, or even your speech patterns. If you lean forward, they lean forward. If you cross your legs, a few moments later, they cross theirs. If you speak slowly and quietly, they match your pace and volume. This is something we all do unconsciously to some extent when we like someone. It helps to build rapport and trust. But when it's done consciously and with a purpose, it's a powerful tool of influence. Let's say you're in a negotiation. The person on the other side of the table starts to mirror your posture and the way you talk. You won't notice it consciously, but your subconscious brain picks up on it. It sends a signal to your brain that says, "This person is like me. We are on the same team." This makes you feel more comfortable. It lowers your guard. You start to trust them more, and as a result, you might be more willing to agree to their terms or give them a better deal. Skilled salespeople, negotiators, and even con artists are often masters of mirroring. They use it to create a sense of instant rapport and trust. It makes you feel like you've known them for a long time, even if you just met. And when we trust someone, we are much less likely to question their motives, making us more susceptible to their influence. Finally, at number 10, we have a trick that controls you by creating confusion. It's the tactic of withholding information, or being intentionally vague. Imagine you're working on a project with a manager who is a bit of a control freak. You ask for clear instructions. You ask, "What exactly do you want the final report to look like?" Instead of giving you a straight answer, they say something like, "Just make it professional," or "You're smart, you'll figure it out." This is incredibly frustrating. You don't have enough information to do the job properly. So what do? You have to keep going back to them for clarification. You have to ask them to approve every little step you take. You become completely dependent on them for guidance. This is exactly what they want. By being vague and withholding key information, they force you to rely on them. They make themselves the center of the project and the keeper of all the answers. It's a way for them to maintain power and control over you and your work. They don't give you the tools to be independent, because your independence is a threat to their control. This also happens in personal relationships. A partner might be vague about their plans, their feelings, or their past. This creates a sense of mystery and uncertainty. It keeps you guessing. It can make you feel insecure, and you might find yourself working harder and harder to get clarity and approval from them. They control the flow of information to keep you in a state of confusion, which ultimately keeps you under their control. So, there you have it. 10 psychological tricks people use, sometimes without even knowing it, to influence and control you. From starting small with the foot in the door, to creating guilt, to making you doubt your own mind with gaslighting. Learning about these tricks isn't about becoming suspicious of everyone around you. It's about awareness. It's about understanding the invisible strings that can pull at our decisions. When you can see these techniques in action, you take back the power. You can pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, am I doing this because I want to, or because I'm being made to feel like I have to? It gives you the freedom to make your own choices, based on your own thoughts and your own feelings. And that's a skill that is worth more than anything. Thanks for watching.